again.
When did this judge become Roger Ebert? I mean, I'm serious. Wendy Williams is a hot commodity right now. I can tell you from our Tubi documentary, it attracted a lot of attention. She's done interviews with major outlets.
The judge, incidentally, has no idea what she's talking about. Around Wendy Williams, public frustration has grown as more and more people begin calling for her return to television, insisting she should once again host a show and reclaim her place in daytime media. This has led to a wider question being asked in public discussions. At what point did a legal judge become the authority on entertainment, public perception, or personal identity? In reality, Wendy Williams remains a figure of strong public interest, and her name continues to generate conversation across social media, entertainment platforms, and news commentary. Much of this renewed attention stems from documentaries and recent media coverage that revisited her life, career, and current situation. These projects reignited debates about her well-being, her career decline, and the legal arrangements that now govern many aspects of her life. Supporters argue that she is still capable, creative, and aware, pointing to public appearances where she seems engaged and communicative. Critics, however, argue that public moments are not sufficient to assess someone's overall cognitive or medical condition, especially when legal systems have already made formal determinations based on professional evaluations. In recent months, Wendy Williams has been seen at several public events, including fashion-related appearances where she interacted with fans, posed for photographs, and appeared attentive to her surroundings. One widely discussed moment was her attendance at a New York Fashion Week event, where she wore a stylish outfit, sat in the front row of a runway show, and acknowledged fans and photographers who were calling out to her. Observers described her as composed and socially responsive, noting that she engaged in conversations and appeared aware of what was happening around her. These appearances quickly circulated online, fueling debates about whether her current legal restrictions match what the public is witnessing. However, these public appearances exist alongside a very different narrative about her daily life and legal situation. Reports and commentary have described Wendy Williams as living under a court-ordered guardianship, which places significant control over her financial, medical, and personal decisions in the hands of an appointed guardian. A guardianship is a legal structure designed to protect individuals who are deemed unable to fully manage their own affairs due to medical, psychological, or cognitive concerns. While the intention is protection, the system itself has long been debated for its potential to become overly restrictive or difficult to challenge once established. In Wendy Williams' case, the guardianship has been widely discussed in media and online spaces, with critics questioning how it was initiated and whether it reflects her current condition. According to public reporting, financial concerns played a significant role in the early stages of the legal process, with institutions raising questions about her financial management. These concerns reportedly contributed to court involvement, which ultimately led to the appointment of a legal guardian responsible for overseeing her affairs. Supporters of the system argue that such steps are standard when financial vulnerability is suspected, especially in high-value estates where exploitation risk is considered high. On the other hand, critics argue that the involvement of financial institutions in triggering such a significant legal restriction raises serious concerns. They question whether a bank's observations should carry enough weight to influence decisions about a person's mental capacity, especially when those decisions result in long-term loss of independence. This debate becomes even more complicated when medical evaluations, legal judgments, and public perception do not all align neatly. Accounts describing Wendy Williams' current living situation have added further fuel to the discussion. Some reports suggest that she resides in a structured care facility, often referred to as a memory care unit. In such environments, residents may experience strict rules designed to ensure safety, including limitations on cooking, restricted access to certain appliances, and controlled entry or exit from personal living spaces. In some cases, doors may not have internal locks, and communication systems may be monitored or regulated depending on the level of care required. Critics of such environments argue that these restrictions can feel isolating and controlling, while supporters emphasize that they are necessary safeguards for individuals who require consistent supervision. One of the most frequently discussed aspects of her situation involves communication. It has been claimed in public discussions that outgoing calls may be permitted while incoming direct calls are restricted or filtered through approved systems. If true, such arrangements would significantly limit spontaneous contact with friends, family, or colleagues. Critics argue that this can contribute to emotional isolation, while supporters maintain that controlled communication helps prevent exploitation, manipulation, or undue influence from outside parties. Wendy Williams herself has publicly addressed aspects of her situation in interviews, where she has expressed frustration with the guardianship and described her living conditions as restrictive. She has stated that she does not believe she is cognitively impaired and has challenged the necessity of the arrangement. These statements have been widely circulated and have contributed significantly to public debate. Supporters of her perspective view her comments as evidence of clarity and awareness, while critics argue that self-assessment alone is not always reliable in cases involving cognitive or medical concerns. The legal structure of guardianship is complex and varies depending on jurisdiction, but it generally involves court supervision, appointed guardians, and periodic reviews. However, once established, it can be difficult to reverse, especially if medical opinions continue to support its continuation. In Wendy Williams' case, public discussion has highlighted this difficulty, with some arguing that even when individuals appear improved or capable in certain settings, the legal process may not easily change course. Family dynamics have also been reported as part of the broader situation. In many guardianship cases, relatives may disagree about what is best for the individual, and Wendy Williams' case is no exception according to public commentary. Some family members are said to support continued structured care, while others reportedly advocate for more independence or changes in guardianship arrangements. These disagreements can complicate legal efforts, as courts often prefer unified petitions and consistent testimony when reconsidering guardianship decisions. Without agreement among close relatives, legal change becomes more difficult to achieve. Public speculation has also extended into broader entertainment industry dynamics, with some commentators linking Wendy Williams' situation to historical controversies involving media power, contracts, and celebrity control. While these comparisons are often speculative, they reflect a larger cultural tendency to interpret celebrity legal issues through the lens of industry politics and power structures. Some people see patterns in how certain entertainers experience career disruption, health struggles, and institutional control, while others caution against drawing conclusions without verified evidence. A major point of tension in public discourse is the contrast between Wendy Williams' visible public appearances and her reported legal restrictions. On one hand, she appears in public looking socially engaged, able to communicate, and responsive to her environment. On the other hand, legal documents and reports suggest she is under strict supervision and limited autonomy in her personal life. This contradiction leads many people to question whether the system is accurately reflecting her current condition, or whether it is applying outdated assessments. However, experts in medical and legal fields often emphasize that public behavior is not always a reliable indicator of overall cognitive health. Individuals with certain conditions may still have moments of clarity, social functionality, or performance ability, especially in structured or familiar environments. This is why courts rely on comprehensive evaluations rather than public appearances when making determinations about guardianship. The financial structure surrounding guardianship has also become part of the debate. It has been reported that costs associated with care, legal representation, and guardian compensation are significant and ongoing. Critics argue that this creates potential conflicts of interest, as multiple parties involved in the arrangement may be financially compensated for maintaining the system. Supporters counter that these costs reflect necessary professional services required to manage complex estates and provide care oversight. As legal proceedings continue, periodic evaluations and court reviews are expected to play a role in determining whether Wendy Williams' guardianship should remain in place or be modified. Medical reports, financial assessments, and legal arguments will all likely influence future decisions. However, public opinion remains deeply divided, with strong voices on both sides of the debate. Ultimately, the situation highlights a broader societal issue: the tension between protection and independence. Guardianship systems exist to safeguard individuals who may be at risk, but they also raise difficult questions about personal freedom, dignity, and the potential for overreach. In high-profile cases like Wendy Williams, these questions become even more visible because they unfold in the public eye, where every appearance, statement, and rumor is analyzed and interpreted. The core issue is not simply whether Wendy Williams appears capable in public moments, but how legal systems determine capacity, how they respond to change over time, and how they balance safety with autonomy. While supporters of the guardianship emphasize protection and stability, critics emphasize freedom and self-determination. Between these perspectives lies a complex legal and ethical landscape that does not easily resolve into simple answers. As discussions continue, one fact remains clear: Wendy Williams is still a figure who commands attention, debate, and emotion. Whether viewed as someone in need of protection or someone whose independence has been unfairly restricted, her situation has become a focal point for larger conversations about law, media, and personal rights in the modern world.